So, Nanci, thank you for agreeing to do a very quick interview about your carnivore lifestyle. I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and then you can take as long as you like or be as brief as you want. And hopefully a few people will watch and maybe they'll be inspired to try it. So my first question to you really is, what made you think about becoming a carnivore?
Well, it started with a keto journey. A number of years ago, I think maybe 3 years ago or 4, I was introduced to dietdoctor.com and learned all about keto there. Then Dr. Westman, and he's pretty big, with the keto experience. And I lost within a year, probably 80 pounds, 60 to 80 pounds. And then I stopped completely losing any weight. And, I tried to find out why. Of course, I didn't know that plant sugars were a problem. I didn't know dairy was a problem. I didn't know keto treats were a problem, all the things that you kind of stumble across. And then I'm always checking out YouTube and, the people that are doing keto and that kind of thing. And Dr. Barry is a presence on the internet, and he was doing keto. And then I saw Shawn Baker's interview with Joe Rogan. And I, looked up Shawn and his story and, all the things that are going on with him. And I thought, well, gee, maybe I'm having too many carbs. And I actually naturally went lower and lower with my carbs. They always said, well, 20, don't go above 20 grams a day. And so I was always counting, the macros and such, driving me really crazy. And then I went down to 5 grams. And then I thought, well, gee, why do I need it at all? And I was hearing more and more about the carnivore through Dr. Barry and Shawn and Dr. Shawn Baker. And so I saw the advertisements, I think, for MeatRx, and I joined for the month, because you can join for free for the month. And, I heard other people's stories. And then in 2020, they had in January, they had a challenge, an all meat challenge or something.
Yeah.
And so I did my best. I think I lasted like 3 weeks without having, anything other than a meat product.
Mm-hmm.
And then sloppily went through, had the ups and downs through the 2020 with carnivore, and still wasn't making great headway, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of how I discovered it.
But then what happened? Because then you have made some big leaps, haven't you?
Okay, so I got, of course, I attached myself to MeatRx
Mm-hmm.
on a monthly thing, and I talked to one of the coaches, and he said, Nanci, you'll never get anywhere with where you want to be until you become faithful.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sloppy,
Yeah.
And so that sounded like good advice. So in January of 2021, I decided to go all in.
Mm-hmm.
And I gained 25 pounds.
You gained 25.
I gained 25 pounds, which made me bite my nails,
Mm-hmm.
And but I was feeling so good and there was nothing to go back to. I certainly didn't want to gain, more weight, and I knew that would happen with inflammation and not feeling at my best and that kind of thing. And so I decided that I would stay faithful, as humanly possible. Sometimes there's little dings here and there, but and then I was really debilitated. I should tell you about that through 2021 or 2020, because of the carnivore, because of the COVID.
Yeah.
And I have cerebral palsy. So all I was doing was sitting, and I got very, very weak. And I could walk across the room, but it was laborious for me. I was very, very weak. And I started listening to Shawn more and more. And he said, any kind of movement is better than nothing. So I had 5-pound weights sitting right next to me, and I started lifting weights with, the only way that I knew how. And, but I stayed faithful to carnivore. And I think it was in April, I started coming down. I started losing that weight. And, now I'm losing weight. I feel really good. I don't know how to explain it, but I do not feel sick at all. I bet if let's see, and I feel stronger because I'm exercising. I'm doing leg exercises. I'm doing dumbbells. I'm using my dumbbells. I'm, active when I get out in the pool, and I feel wonderful. And I'm 64.
Yeah.
I feel better now in my 60s than I felt in my 30s.
Okay. So the question people will be asking is how much weight you've actually lost since you've been full in on carnivore and doing the exercise.
So it'll be 30 pounds. I lost 30 because I gained.
Yeah.
I gained, the 25, and then I now I'm starting to come down. So I've lost 30. Yeah.
Which is brilliant. And, you're doing things like lunges, and you're squatting a little bit and moving your legs. And yet all of last year you were just, like you say, sitting in a chair. So that's quite a big turnaround as well, I think. And how have you found, apart from feeling better and not sick at all and having more movement, how did you find the process of carnivore? Are you finding it easy to plan your meals and put it into your day?
Well, okay. So I'm a big cook, and I used to make all these complicated meals with vegetables and fruits and baking and all of that. I used to entertain a lot. And now, because the COVID, and now people are kind of getting back, but not quite there yet. It's very simple.
Yeah.
I don't have vegetables rotting in my refrigerator, and fruits rotting in my refrigerator. Sorry to say, but that can happen, Yeah. And I take out a steak and I fry it, and that's what I have. It's so easy.
Yes.
And I mean, eggs and bacon, what does that do? I mean, how complicated is that? It's not. Chicken, throw it in the oven, throw it on the grill. It's just so simple.
So simple. And how have you found the coaching and the community?
Well, if it wasn't for, now you're going to make me cry. But if it weren't for the community, I wouldn't have survived this. I've had just now, you're my coach, and right now, and I can't say enough about you, but just aside from that for a minute, every day I get on to the meetings, when I can, and my schedule allows it. And everyone is so encouraging. They encourage me through my exercises. It's like going to the gym, but not leaving my home. And people are just like applauding what I do. And that's so encouraging to me because I haven't been an exerciser, you know?
Yes.
And then also in the meetings, you know, people ask, sometimes the newbies ask fundamental questions, but you're always learning through that.
Yes.
And then are reminded of why you're doing it a certain way, you know, did the carnivore experience a certain way. And then other people who've been carnivores for years, they'll say something and I'll go, wow, I never knew that. And then I'll implement it and it will work for me.
Yes.
Right. And so I've met several coaches. You're my coach now. You help me with the carnivore diet, which keeps me on the straight and narrow. That's great. But you help me with my exercises, you know, being a professional like you are. And I can't do without it. I love it. Yeah.
Brilliant. Nanci, you have been an inspiration, like I say, and people in the meetings always comment that you're exercising during the meetings and they've seen the difference in you. And one thing you wanted me to say and make sure everyone knew is this is still a journey. You're continuing. You haven't got 30 pounds off and thought, right, I'm happy now. You actually want to go a bit further. So
Yeah.
what is your targets?
Oh, you mean my target goal weight?
Yeah, you have a weight loss target maybe and sort of a health target, do you?
Well, okay, so I don't know where I'm going to end up, but I'd like to see 140, but you know, I don't know. All I know is that I'm feeling good, and I want to continue to feel good. And that's the most important thing to me. It never used to be, though. It used to be just always weight loss. And that's all I wanted. But now I know it's health.
Yes.
And then the weight loss will come.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Nanci, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Thank you, Stephen. Take care.